friends, and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. On today's episode of the Prime, we're going to talk about Week 3 of Monday Night Football, as we had 2 games last night, and then we're going to give you our Week 4 preview and predictions. But yeah, thank you very much for checking us out. I am David Helping. Right there is the CEO, Mr. Israel Rivera. Welcome into the show. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And if you do happen to miss us live, go check out all of our streaming services. We have a plethora of them. The link is right there in the comments section. So go check that stuff out. Again, David Huffman right there from the Daily Blitz.blog. Our boy, Mr. Christian Simpson, fresh off doing his live feed last night on Twitter. Hopefully you had a good turnout on your show last night, Christian. And welcome back into our show tonight, my friend.
Yeah, what's going on? Did you guys miss me yesterday?
Oh, always.
Absolutely. We always miss you, brother.
I'll always miss your insight. Let's just jump right into it, not waste any time. Let's talk about Monday Night Football, as we had 2 games last night. First one, we had a bit of a beatdown where the Philadelphia Eagles ran Rumpshaw over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, imposing their will with the running game with 201 yards rushing in this game. Philadelphia Eagles win 25-11. Jalen Hurts kind of little bit erratic in this game. 2 bad interceptions. Well, one of them for sure was a bad interception. But 23 of 37, 277 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. DeAndre Swift goes over the century mark for 2 weeks in a row, and AJ Brown goes over the century mark for the first time this season. And Lamade Zaccheaus had the lone receiving touchdown for the Philadelphia Eagles. On the Tampa Bay side of this, we saw kind of old Baker Mayfield again in this game. 15-25, 146 yards, 1 touchdown, and that 1 interception. They really couldn't get the running game started with 2.4 yards per carry. And Mike Evans caught the lone receiving touchdown, which was 100% in garbage time.
I wouldn't say it was in garbage time, David, because it was 9 minutes left. How many minutes were left on that game? 7.
They were losing 25-3. It was garbage time.
Yeah, but they made it a 14. They made it a 14-point. They made it a 14-point game. But Philly, if they could have stopped Philly, they could have made it interesting. But
okay, sure.
I would say garbage time is like 2 minutes. They still had some time, David. Come on, give them some slack, man. You're so ruthless on this show. Oh my gosh.
They played like trash, dude. We call it Spain. We're not playing around. Tampa Bay was trash last night.
I got you.
They deserve a little bit of ruthlessness.
Can I go first, Tristan? You know what? A lot of drop passes in this game. You say Baker Mayfield was trash, but I saw a lot of drop passes from Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans had 2 drops. He had 2 drops in this game. One of them was a pretty big play.
Yeah. Oh, the one, especially on the sideline when the rain started going. But I would have thought, one thing I said last night was to myself too, was that, that Buccaneers defense kind of came back to earth, right? Came back down to earth, especially going against an elite team like the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, that line was able to do anything and everything to them. They doubled down on Vita Vea every single time, and kind of took them out the game. As a run stopper in the middle. They were getting to the second level. DeAndre Swift was over there hurdling people like he was playing Madden. AJ Brown was doing whatever the hell he wanted to do. Anytime he caught the ball, nobody could bring him down. And so, it was one of those games where, the Buccaneers just didn't have their best. But, I think that they'll be okay if, they play like the first 2 weeks, obviously, but like they have to, this is an elite team. The Philadelphia Eagles is an elite team. I mean, let's put it out there. They're supposed to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are, one-dimensional at this point. Don't really have a running game. Had to lean on Baker Mayfield for most of the game to make plays. And, the defense just got a little tired. They just got out-muscled, out-manned in this game.
Christian.
Yeah, I mean, I think he said it best, but you got to give the Eagles a lot of credit. I love what their defense did. That was the 2022 Eagles defense we saw yesterday. Guys flying to the ball. Look at all the attention Jalen Carter was commanding on the interior of the defensive line. Fletcher Cox had a couple of sacks. Secondary making some good plays on the ball. Safeties coming down in the box and making stops of the football. And like Izzy said, they made Tampa Bay a very one-dimensional football team. But I think my biggest takeaway from this game was the fact that the Eagles were able to run the ball as consistently and powerfully as they did, because Tampa's been a pretty good run defense these last few years. And I mean,
Right.
they dominated the line of scrimmage. Izzy and I talk about it all the time. You dominate the line of scrimmage up front, you have a better chance of winning the football game.
Starts with the hog mollies up front.
Yep. Moving on from there, let's talk about the other Monday Night Football game. A little less scoring in this game, that's for sure. As the Los Angeles Rams fall to the Cincinnati Bengals, 16-19. Cincinnati gets a much-needed win. Really couldn't afford to go down 0-3 and kind of dig out of that hole with actually nobody's really running away with their division, so I guess they could technically have. But the Rams also, they scored a touchdown towards the end of the game, and then they couldn't convert the onside kick, which is absolutely another conversation for a whole nother time, talking about the onside kick. But the stats here: Matthew Stafford, 18 of 33, 269 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. This line just strictly could not block for him as they gave up 6 sacks in this game. Kyren Williams, 10 carries for 38 yards. Puka Nacua, 5 catches for 72 yards. And Tutu Atwell had the lone touchdown for the Los Angeles Rams. Joe Burrow, a little bit up and down here. 26 of 49, 259, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Joe Mixon got a little bit going in this game, 3.4 yards a carry, but did have that 1 touchdown on that long run. Jamar Chase, big game for Jamar Chase as he got back kind of here over the century mark with 141 yards in this game. Thoughts, gentlemen?
Man, hey, let me say this. Hey, well, and I'll just be short with it. Man, Trey Hendrickson, once that left tackle went out, whoever the starting left tackle is, they brought the backup in. Trey Hendrickson was not playing any games with that Rams offensive line. He was in the backfield whenever, wherever, whenever, however he wanted. He was in the backfield hitting Matthew Stafford. And so that was just a remarkable performance by him. And look, hey, that Cincinnati Bengals defense showed up. That pick that happened with Akil Witherspoon, that was probably the best pick in this year so far. I mean, 100%. the way he picked that ball off was amazing.
You basically ripped it away from Tyler Boyd.
And David, I said it. I mean, you get the pick and then you do nothing with it. And that was the Rams, chance to kind of do something with it. They didn't do anything with it. I think they went 3 and out. And so it was just a little bit too late, a little too late for them as they ran out of time. So, and another thing, Christian, I want to mention too, where they've been successful has been, power running the football. They didn't do that a lot in the red zone, which, a couple drives stalled out. I feel like they should have handed that ball north-south to Kyren Williams and let him go to work against the Bengals that, has kind of the first couple of weeks been struggling against the run. So,
yeah, they really have been struggling against the run. But I just want to be completely honest here. Something's off with the Bengals right now because that offense is usually prolific and they're pushing that ball down the field. Yeah, they were able to score 24 points against the Ravens in week 2. But yesterday, this is a game they had to grind out defense. But Joe Burrow isn't 100%. But look, the kid's tough. And he's going to play on that leg until he can't anymore. This is a huge win for the Bengals. They saved their season last night. And that's a term I don't like using this early in the year. But what a difference it makes. Being 1-2 than being 3 games under 500.
But by the way, shout out to our viewer over there, Jose Luis Gotcha. Appreciate your comments there on the comments on Facebook. We appreciate we will talk about the G-Men as Christian Simpson is our resident Giants fan. We will for sure be talking about the New York Football Giants here on this show. Before we get into week number 4, we got to close out this chapter on week number 3. Let's give out some game balls. Izzy, I don't know if you've done a game ball this year yet, so you get to go first, man.
Oh, man, my game ball. Can I give my game ball to the whole Miami Dolphins offense?
Yes, you can.
I want to give the game ball to the Miami's Dolphins offense. They scored 10 touchdowns, 70 points. And also, man, if I could get an extra game ball, I want to give it to Mike McDaniels. Some of those damn plays were just magnificent. I am so impressed by Mike McDaniels' play calling. I'm so impressed by the Miami Dolphins offense. how fast they are, how all the components work, and they did this all without Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, their second best offensive player didn't play in the game. They still put up 70 points. I have finally seen all 10 touchdowns now. When we recorded the episode yesterday, I had not because they scored so many touchdowns. It was hard to see all 10. My game ball, yeah, I'm going to give it to Josh Dobbs, man. You go into Dallas, you welcome Dallas into your house, the big toaster. Nobody gives you a chance to win the game. And not only do you win the game, you're so efficient. 17-21, 189 yards, a touchdown, no turnovers. He also had 6 carries, 55 yards. Big time game for Joshua Dobbs, as nobody gave you a chance. Nobody gave Arizona Cardinals a chance. And you kind of balled out this year so far. You have not thrown a single interception yet this year. You deserve a game ball. You're getting it from me. Go ahead, Josh Dobbs. You get my flowers, baby. Christian.
I'm giving it to Keenan Allen, the wide receiver of the Los Angeles Chargers. Did you guys see his stat line? 18 receptions, 215 yards. No, he didn't have a touchdown reception, but when you needed this guy to make a big catch after big catch after big catch, he delivered. And look, everybody can say Mike Williams is the Chargers' #1 wide receiver, but look, that's Keenan Allen in my eyes, because again, when you need him to make that catch for you, to move the chains or go over the middle and make that catch in traffic, he delivers every single time.
The stat I talked about yesterday, Keenan Allen, most 15-plus receptions games of anyone in the history of the league. Keenan Allen. So, shout out to him. Yeah, big time. And he's going to really have to step now that Mike Williams is done for the season. Moving on into this, let's talk about week number 4. Obviously, we got Thursday Night Football, and we got a rematch of the final game of last season. I think that game was in Ford Field. I really don't remember. But this one is in Lambeau. Detroit 2-1, Green Bay 2-1. Both teams playing well. Izzy, this is your team. So how do you think this game is going to shake out in Lambeau? Packers, Lions.
Well, I think first and foremost, I think the Packers definitely have this one circled on their calendar because of the fact that Detroit swept them last year and kept them out the playoffs at the end of the year in the last game of the season in Lambeau. So that defense is going to be fired up. I think Jair Alexander's going to be back. I think hopefully Christian Watson's back. I probably think David Bakhtiari is going to be back. I hope Aaron Jones is back. So all 4 of those,
is that artificial turf or is it real grass they play there in Lambeau?
Might be real grass.
Did he play last week?
No.
So somebody told me, I don't know if this is like something legit or if he's been like injured. Somebody told me that he's not going to play on artificial turf ever again. He will only play on grass for the rest of his career.
Yeah. Good luck with that. They're good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Anyway, I read that somewhere on the internet, so I don't know if that's
good luck with that. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, this contract is they're gonna tell him to get over that. So yeah, the way I see this game going, yeah, man, I like the way the Packers have been playing. I mean, last week for 3 quarters they struggled against a good Saints defense. But the thing is that they held on Derek Carr to only 10 points. While the kick return for a touchdown was 7 points, but they only held them to 10 points, so the defense played well. They're going against a bit of a better offense than the Saints, in my opinion, with the Lions. So it's going to be a little bit more of a struggle. But I mean, if Rashawn Gary can get that pressure on Jared Goff, which he's going to have his hands full with Penei Sewell or whoever else is on the other side of the right tackle. I mean, they have a great offensive line there. Man, I want to say the Green Bay Packers in a close one. Just because of the fact I don't think the Detroit Lions, nobody on their defense scares me besides Aiden Hutchinson. Everybody and maybe CJ Gardner-Johnson, but I mean, I nobody else on their defense scares me. So I'm going to actually go with the Green Bay Packers at home. They split with the Lions this season. They remember what the hell happened last year. It'll be a close one. I like Jordan Love in the clutch situation, man. He had Aaron Rodgers-esque drive last week against the Saints. So I like the Packers in a short week this week.
Christian.
Youngest team in the NFL on a short week.
David.
Oh, let's go, baby.
You know what time it is, baby. Izzy, you want in on this one too?
Let's
Go
go.
ahead,
Let's
baby.
go.
Shameless plug number one.
baby.
Let's go.
Nah, look, the Lions bounced back nicely last week against Atlanta, but I like what Izzy just said about the Lions defense. They really don't have a guy that you can zoom in on outside of Aiden Hutchinson. But man, I love the Lions offense and how they move the ball down the field. Jared Goff looks comfortable. You know, you see he has more confidence in his passes now, has a little bit more. That running game is starting to kind of come alive for the Lions. And when I look at Green Bay, that's a gritty win for them last week. To come back, you're down 17, home opener at Lambeau. Jordan Love's first game. This is actually going to be my first time getting the chance to actually sit down and watch Jordan Love play. I'm excited for it. I preview this one on Thursday before the game. Be on the lookout.
I think this game is like as close to a pick'em game as you can get in the National Football League. I really do think this game could go either way. I'm going to hesitantly take the Green Bay Packers to win. I think this game is in Lambeau, and I think the Green Bay Packers have for sure had this one circled on their calendar ever since the season ended. They basically got embarrassed in their own building as the Lions knocked them out of the playoffs. I think this will be a motivated Packers team to come out and get this victory. I'm taking Green Bay. Moving on from here, we got our first game in Wembley Stadium in London. We got the 2-1 Atlanta Falcons going into Wembley Stadium in London, taking on the 1-2 Jacksonville Jaguars. Last time these two teams played, Atlanta won this game 28-12 last year in 2022. I am also super intrigued. This might be just like one of those things. Like I'm super intrigued to see like the multicast where they have like the Toy Story thing. I cannot wait to see how they do that. Like I know it sounds child. I know it sounds stupid, but like what? How are they going to pull it off? Are they going to have like? Is there? I imagine there's going to be some sort of delay, right? And they'll have every play will be played out like. I'm not sure how they're even going to do it. I'm fascinated with like that aspect of this game. As for the actual game itself, Jacksonville hasn't been all that good. Like their offense has been very meh so far this season. They run into an Atlanta Falcons team that can really run the football, can really play some solid defense. I'm going to take the Falcons.
Man, this game can go either way. I think this is as close to a pick'em, if you ever saw one. But I think Jacksonville has the edge at the most important position, which is quarterback. And if I'm Jacksonville, I'm loading up that box and I'm forcing Desmond to beat me. I like the Jaguars.
The fuck? What the hell is that? Sorry.
Sorry about that. That's my son over there. Sorry about that, guys.
Man, you know how loud that was? All right, go ahead. I think we lost. I think he has to go deal with whatever that noise was. We'll go jump back to Izzy's pick in a minute here. I'm moving on from London across the pond back to the United States, and we got a doozy of a banger of a matchup. We got the 3-0 Miami Dolphins going into Orchard Park in Buffalo, taking on the 2-1 Buffalo Bills. Miami just fresh off dropping a 70-piece on the Denver Broncos, a 70 steamer. Is what I've heard it's supposed to be called. And then the Buffalo Bills obviously beat down the Washington Commanders 37-3. Both these teams coming off of going impressive victories. How do you see this game shaking out? And Christian, I already know what's coming.
Y'all ready? Let's go.
I was plug number one. Number two. Sorry, two. Sorry.
Look, this Miami offense, this is a Madden-esque offense, if I ever saw one. Izzy, we were just talking about this the other day. The speed that they play with, and like you just said, the fact that they were able to do this without Jalen Waddle, but there's a kid that plays for Miami. And Izzy and I talked about him all the time last year on College Football Showdown. He knows where I'm going with this. I'm talking about the running back that went to Texas A&M, Devin Achane, and he just ran circles through this Denver defense. As far as Buffalo goes, it seems like Buffalo's really put that loss to open up the year behind them because they were dominant against the Raiders, which, okay, it's the Raiders. And then just the way they smacked the Washington Commanders in the mouth. 9 sacks, 4 interceptions, swarming to the ball. And they did this all with Von Miller. So that's even more impressive. And the Bills are doing what now? They're beginning to run the football, and I swear, every time I see it, I smile like a proud dad watching his only son who made it. I preview this one on Friday. Be on the lookout.
Izzy, so circling back to the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Falcons, who do you got winning that game real quick?
You know what? I am going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They bounce back in a big way against the Falcons. It'll be close.
So swinging back into this game, Bills, Dolphins. This game's in Orchard Park. Who do you got winning this game?
Man, speed kills. Speed kills, and I think that the Bills do not have enough speed to handle with to stay with the Dolphins. I don't care where they're playing. Speed transfers everywhere. It's not cold in Orchard Park, not just yet. And I think that the way Raheem Mostert's running the ball, the way Devin Achane, they get an added weapon. I think Jalen Waddle's going to come back this week. You got Tyreek Hill. Tua is looking like the front runner for MVP, possibly next to Christian McCaffrey. They're clicking on all centers. The defense is very solid. Very physical. The line's physical. And then on this other side, I mean, the Buffalo Bills, they're starting to find an identity. James Cook is starting. They got like a 3 down back. They got a red zone back in Latavius Murray. They have 3 down back in James Cook. Stephon Diggs looks good. This should be a nice high scoring game in my opinion. But I got the Miami Dolphins just outscoring them. You cannot get into this team. You can't get into a track meet with this team. Literally.
Yeah,
you can't. If you get into a track meet with the Miami Dolphins, you are going to lose. Your defense has to be physical, and it's crazy because they're so fast. You can't press Tyreek Hill. You can't press Jalen Waddle, so you have to lay off of them. So you're going to have to find a way to get to Tua and rush him and make sure that he rushes his throws. That's the only way I can see the Buffalo Bills winning this football game is if they can stop Tua from getting that ball to Tyreek Hill on time, and on the money. Because if he has a clean pocket all day, it's over with. They're gonna fly high. Nobody can catch these guys. So I'm going Miami though in the track meet.
So this will be the best pass rushing unit that the Miami Dolphins will have played in so far this season, by far, pretty much. I think they'll be able to generate pressure under Tua Tagovailoa. But the other thing that's crazy about Tyreek Hill is his sudden speed. Like, yeah, he's fast, but he's like suddenly fast. Like he gets in and out of breaks faster than any other wide receiver in football. I think Buffalo will find a way to use like the New England Patriot method, where they'll have the single high, they'll double cover him basically the entire game, try to negate what he does well. Buffalo, I think on offense though, I think the Miami defense hasn't really been tested by an offense as good as the Buffalo Bills. I'll be interested to see what comes out of that. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills just because they're at home, but I honestly think this game could go literally either way.
Yeah, and just one more key. Miami, they have to make Josh Allen a pocket passer. Don't allow him to buy time, move that pocket, and extend plays with his feet. Or if he does move the pocket, as a pass rusher, I'm flushing him to the left because that's his least dominant side. Flush him to the left, force him to throw off that back foot, try to create turnovers. I think Bradley Chubb is going to be an X factor for the Miami Dolphins in this game. This is going to be a great game. All 3 games last year were entertaining. The first one in Miami and the 2 in Buffalo. You remember Buffalo beat them in the playoffs last year. So I think the Dolphins are going to come in with a chip on their shoulder.
Moving on from this game, two teams that are desperate to get to week number 4 and forget what happened on week number 3. The Denver Broncos going to Soldier Field, take on the Chicago Bears. Both of these teams got embarrassed on Sunday, this most past weekend. But the last time these two teams played, Bears got a slight victory over the Denver Broncos, 16-14. I actually think that the result is going to be very similar this year. I think the Bears are going to I think the Bears, like both of these teams are like looking at this schedule and be like, hey, this has got to be our get right game. Like we're going into their house. Their defense isn't good. They just gave up 50 points or 40, 50 points. And the other team gave up 70. You got to be like, this is the game where we got to get our offense right. We got to get clicking on all cylinders. I think the Bears will take advantage of it, but I also think this is going to be a low scoring, sloppy, messy game. I'll give it to the Bears, but neither of these teams deserve to win another game this season.
I totally agree with everything you said. I don't think either one of these teams are slated to win many games this year, just the way that the effort is on especially the defensive end. I'm so surprised with Chicago on the defensive end because they spent that money on the defensive side of the ball, getting Tremaine Edmonds, getting TJ Edwards, drafting Jalen Johnson, drafting, you got Kyler Gordon. I don't even know what Eddie, what's his name?
Jackson.
Eddie Jackson. I don't even know what the hell he's doing. He's
Well,
not.
He didn't play last week, so let's not.
Well, not last week, but this season. I don't know what the hell he's been doing. He's been, he's been non-existent.
He's missed 2 of the 3 games they played. So
yeah. Well, no, the first game of the season. But anyways, yeah, you're right. So defensively, they kind of had to grow up, Chicago. But you're just like I said, if you're Justin Fields, you're looking at this team, Denver, and you're like, hey, his Miami team just put up 70 points on them. I'm gonna go out and just play my game. I don't know what the coaching staff is telling Justin Fields to stay in the pocket or whatever the case is. But if I'm Justin Fields, I'm throwing the damn game plan away. I'm saying, you know what? F Luke Getsy, F Matt Eberflus. I'm going to go, and as soon as I don't see anything open, I am darting, and I'm running for 200 yards this week against Denver. Give me the Chicago Bears to win at home against the Denver Broncos. They are sorry as hell. Russell Wilson's sorry. He hasn't been the same since Future dropped bars against him. Russell Wilson is and Sean Payton should be ashamed of himself because all that rah-rah BS crap that he was pulling in the offseason, that don't work in the NFL, and it don't work. And shame on you because you've been a professional football coach, won a Super Bowl with the New Orleans Saints, and you want to treat these pros like they're college guys, talking like that to them. They don't believe in you. They're not playing for you. And you can see it's obvious and it's blatant that the Denver Broncos do not like Sean Payton. And they do not want to run through a brick wall for that guy. They do not like him. Sean Payton will not be the head coach of this football team by the end of this season. He's done. That's it. I'm done.
That's bold. Christian.
I haven't done this in a while.
Get it, baby. Get it. Trash. It's the trash bowl. The trash bowl. Both of these teams trash.
God, do I really have to pick a winner? Nah, you know what? Look, I'm just gonna announce it right now. This is another shameless plug. I feel like trolling Bears fans, minus you, David. You're exempt from this.
No, I don't mind being trolled a little bit.
Look, I'm previewing this one on Sunday morning before the game. Be on the lookout. Look, this game. Here's the thing. Both teams are so bad that it's worth talking about. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just be on the lookout.
Moving on from this game, we got a battle in the AFC North. We got the 2-1 Baltimore Ravens rolling into Cleveland Browns Stadium, where ironically the Cleveland Browns play. They're 2-1. Both these teams coming off. Actually, the Ravens lost to the Colts. Cleveland beat. My brain is totally blanking on who they beat last week, but it doesn't really matter.
Tennessee.
Cleveland beat Tennessee.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they beat down Tennessee. Last time these two teams played last year, Cleveland beat them 13-3. Christian, how do you see this game shaking out? Ravens, Browns.
I actually like Cleveland in this one because Baltimore, they're a little decimated at injury, with injuries to key guys right now. And I think Cleveland can attack that Baltimore secondary, which still isn't good. And look, I'm just going to come out and say it. Lamar Jackson hasn't really ascended to me since his MVP season. Everybody wants to tell me he has, but Sunday showed you that he hasn't, because every time you needed him to make a big throw against the Colts on Sunday afternoon, he couldn't do it. Cleveland, I like the way they're playing defense. Myles Garrett's looking really good right now. Deshaun Watson's in control. Yeah, I like the way this Cleveland team is looking, and I think they keep it moving, and I think they get the win here. Cleveland always seems to play Baltimore tough in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's a real rivalry too. Real physical rivalry, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm actually gonna go with Cleveland. I like what I'm seeing out of Deshaun Watson, man. He's looking like this. Like the last game, he looked like the Deshaun Watson of old. Amari Cooper looked like he was having fun out there. They were clicking on all cylinders. I'm really interested and intrigued because I know Jerome Ford had I don't know if did he have 2 touchdowns last week? I think he had 2
Yeah, he had
touchdowns.
one receiving touchdown, one rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
His first rushing touchdown of his career.
Intrigued to see how they start to incorporate Kareem Hunt back into the system. I think we'll see a little bit more Kareem Hunt in this system. In Baltimore, I mean, that's a game last week that you have to win against the Colts, albeit it is in controversial fashion, but that's a game you have to win. It shouldn't come down to that. So I think it's going to be a nice slugfest, a good game. Both teams love to run. Both teams are physical. Baltimore is very physical. They love to run the ball. We know their identity. I mean, they're back to the same old, right? They don't really have weapons on the outside. I mean, OBJ went down. Zay Flowers is a rookie. Rashad Bateman is Rashad Bateman. Mark Andrews hasn't looked the same since his last couple seasons. And so now they have to really heavily run the football and get back to their identity and playing defense. So I expect this one to be a low scoring affair, but I expect not low scoring, but I expect it's like 17-14 type of game. And I expect the Cleveland Browns to end up on top.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm actually going to take the Baltimore Ravens to win this game. I do expect this to be very, very low scoring. I still have more faith in Lamar Jackson than I do out of Deshaun Watson. We've seen Deshaun Watson play one game of good football against a miserable Tennessee Titans team. This is a Ravens team that could still play defense, and they're still going to make your life difficult. I'm taking the Ravens. I do think this will be a very low scoring game. I think whoever gets to 17 points first will win this matchup. Moving on from this game, we got a battle between the AFC North and the AFC South as the Cincinnati Bengals roll into Nissan Stadium, taking on the Tennessee Titans. Both these teams 1-2. Tennessee fresh off losing to the Cleveland Browns, and Cincinnati beating the Rams on Monday Night Football. The last time these two teams played was last season, where the Titans or the Bengals won that game 20-16. I think this will be a very similar outcome in this game, only with the Cincinnati Bengals putting up a 40-piece on the Tennessee Titans. I think this will be their get-right game. Joe Burrow will be healthy. I don't believe the Titans have enough to even be remotely competitive in this game. And I also think this will be Ryan Tannehill's last game as the starting quarterback of the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I'm with you.
This should have been last week.
Yeah, or week 1. Just being honest. I'm with you. I like Cincinnati here. I agree with what you just said. Yeah, this is going to be a get-right game for the Titans. For the Bengals. I don't think there's anybody in that secondary that can match up one-on-one with Jamar Chase. I can see T. Higgins having a big game, and I think this is the game where Joe Mixon breaks out as well.
Is he?
Man. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with the Bengals on this one. I don't care what Tennessee faithful think. Oh, it's just 1 week and we're gonna bounce back and Derrick Henry's gonna this is a one-dimensional team. I don't need to see any more Ryan Tannehill. He's done. You have 2 young quarterbacks in your wheelhouse that you should be utilizing. Malik Willis played well in preseason. I honestly believe you roll him out. You roll Malik Willis out. He looks like he was a better pocket passer. He looked like, when you did roll him out, you did a lot of the same things, the play action passing with Ryan Tannehill. When he got out the pocket in preseason, he can make plays. So I think that's your best bet to win some games is throw Malik Willis in there. And if he doesn't work out, throw Will Levis in there. And if he doesn't work out, now you need a franchise quarterback next season in a deep quarterback draft, right? So that's what you got to do for Tennessee if you're Tennessee. But you can't keep thinking that you're going to win football games with Ryan Tannehill. You're not going to make the playoffs. This team's gritty, but they're not gritty enough. Mike Vrabel, this might be the first year that he doesn't make the playoffs because he's made the playoffs every single season, right?
Except for last season.
Except for last season, yeah. So
2 in a row. I also think that Derrick Henry could potentially have a big game here. Look for him to have over 100 yards in this game for the first time this year. Moving on from this game, we got the battle between the NFC West and the AFC South as we get the Los Angeles Rams coming off that loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, going into Indianapolis, who fresh off beating the Baltimore Ravens. This game is in Lucas Oil Stadium, the house that Peyton Manning built. The last time these two teams played was 2 years ago, and the Rams won that game 27-24. Christian, what do you think happens here?
Man, this is another one where I think it could go either way. I like what I saw from the Colts last week. because they beat Baltimore at their own game. They were physical at the point of attack, played downhill, got to run that football. Gardner Minshew did what was asked of him. Man, this one can really go either way. I'm going to lean with the Rams, but I'm not confident in it.
I think one of the big problems right now with the Los Angeles Rams is this offensive line. You saw during the game against Cincinnati, could not block Trey Henderson to save their lives. The Colts have some guys that can really put some pressure onto the quarterback. I think the Colts are going to win this game. I think they're, especially if they continue to roll with Gardner Minshew as the starting quarterback of this team. I liked what I saw out of them against the Baltimore Ravens, being gritty and tough, and they played tough defense. They played tough defense in every game this season. I think that continues. Give me the Colts.
I think Anthony Richardson's playing in this game, though, David.
I don't think it matters. I'm taking the Colts either way.
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts.
You taking the Colts as well?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go against the grain, guys. I'm taking the Rams. I think that the Rams are a lot tougher than what people are giving them credit for. I think that they play defense stuff. I think when they can get back to their identity and they can, Sean McVay, feels like he wants to run the ball again, they can actually run the football with Kyron Williams, right? And then also, when I look at it, I think Puka Nacua, he did have that one breakaway play. There was a lot of attention on Cincinnati. They're going to try and play him. I don't know if Indy really has that personnel to guard a guy like him. So I think he gets off on this game. I think Tutu Atwell has a lot of speed in this game. I think this is a game where Tyler Higbee kind of breaks out his shell as well. So give me the Rams to win this football game. And I think Aaron Donald is going to make life a living hell for the young rookie quarterback, Anthony Richardson. And I don't want to say knock him out the game because I don't like doing that. So he's going to make life a living hell.
Moving on from this game, we got the battle between the 2-1 teams in the NFC South. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rolling into the Superdome, taking on the New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay fresh off losing on Monday Night Football. New Orleans fresh off losing to the Green Bay Packers in a comeback win for Jordan Love. Last time these two teams played, obviously, was last season, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won that game 17-16. I actually think that might have been the game where Tom Brady threw that game ceiling touchdown last year, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm not. Yeah. Threw that touchdown at the horn, basically. They were losing the whole game, and then he threw those two touchdowns at basically walk-off style. But I see this game taking off. It's surprising Tampa Bay going up against New Orleans at 2-1, both these teams. Christian.
David.
Oh, baby.
Shane
Is this number 4? Is this number 4?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Shane was plug number 4.
Baby.
Let's go.
Tampa showed you they're vulnerable. If you get pushed, and like Izzy said, if you pretty much just neutralize Vita Vea and not run at him, you can run the football on them. The Saints have a reinforcement coming back on Sunday. Y'all know who that is?
Alvin Kamara, baby.
Alvin Kamara, baby. And he's going to open up this offense for the Saints because the Saints offense hasn't looked good in the first, 3 weeks. The defense won the game for them against Tampa Bay. Against Carolina and against Tennessee. And it was a letdown in Green Bay. I preview this one tomorrow. Be on the lookout for it.
I'm not sure if Derek Carr will play in this game. With that being said, I know he avoided the serious injury, but I still think he's going to miss at least this one. I'm not really confident of what I saw of Jameis Winston as the quarterback of this football team. And yes, they will have Alvin Kamara back, which is a major boost. I don't know. I don't like what I saw of Jameis Winston as the starting quarterback of this football team. I will take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I wouldn't be shocked if I was wrong. Izzy.
Man, this is I agree with you. I didn't like what I saw out of Jameis Winston. He's gonna have to give you some, and I think if Jameis Winston struggles a little bit, you'll see more of what's his name, the Swiss Army knife,
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. Yeah, you'll see more of Taysom Hill. Sorry, that name escaped me. But I will say this. Jameis Winston has a great deep ball. And who do they have? They have two really good deep threats in Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave. So I could see a scenario where, those two guys get loose, and that's all you really need is a couple touchdowns, and you maybe, and you can stop this you can stop this offense. What you saw. I mean, this defense is pretty stout. It's pretty solid. I expect the Saints to win at home and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And like you said, Alvin Kamara is coming back. Jameis Winston just has to play QB, get him the ball, hand him off the ball, give him the ball in the space, transition. Michael Thomas as well, same thing. I mean, you got weapons there in New Orleans. So you can very much well win this football game. Tampa Bay is nothing special. The defense has been pretty decent this year, but nothing special offensively that you can't stop. So I do agree. I think the Saints will win this game at home.
Moving on from this game, we got a battle in the NFC East. First, we got the 2-1 Washington Commanders rolling into Lincoln Financial Field and facing the 3-0 Philadelphia Eagles. This is very easy for me. It's almost my lock of the week, but I'm not going to say that. I got the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game. I think Washington got exposed against Buffalo. Philadelphia's going to run it down their throat, and there's nothing Washington can do about it. Eagles win big.
Yeah. Go ahead, Izzy.
There's nothing much for me to say. I think the Eagles are the cream of the crop of the NFL. I think they're the most complete team in the NFL. Washington, just like David said, they got exposed. Sam Howell got exposed through four very bad picks. And you're gonna have that. He's a first-time starter, basically a rookie out there, in my opinion. But Sam Howell. Yeah, Sam Howell is going to have a tough time against this Eagles defense again. One thing that the Washington Commanders are going to have to do probably in this game is Riverboat Ron knows he's going to have to run the football. He's going to have to be physical, and I don't know if they're built to be physical with this defense. So give me the Eagles to win the game.
Moving on from this game, we got the battle of the defeated. We got the Minnesota Vikings going into Carolina, taking on both these teams 0-3, Carolina Panthers. Last time these two teams played was 2 years ago. Minnesota squeaked out the victory 34-28. Christian, how do you see this game shaking out? Who do you think gets off the snide and gets their first win of the season?
I'm going to go with Minnesota here. I mean, Minnesota did everything right to win that game the other day. You can't put that interception on Kirk Cousins because that ball ricocheted off the hands of T.J. Hockenson. He did what he had to do. Carolina, they're just not that good of a team right now. I don't think Bryce Young is playing in this one. I know Adam Thielen's going to take it personally because this is his first time playing Minnesota since he left, but I just think Minnesota to the far more rounded offense, and you're going to see that on Sunday.
Yeah, Minnesota's lost three heartbreaking losses. They've lost 3 games in last. So the games they won last year were all by one score. They've lost 3 games by 1 score this season. I think that they get off the schneid this weekend. I think they beat the Carolina Panthers. As Christian just said, they're not that good. So
give me the Minnesota Vikings to win this football game. Andy Dalton starting at quarterback, which is pretty good for guys like Miles Sanders, who actually has an adequate quarterback that can pass the football. I mean, I'm not saying that Bryce Young isn't there yet, but he's still a rookie. He's still learning. It's a learning curve. Andy Dalton is a veteran. He knows how to get the ball to where it needs to go. But with that being said, Carolina is not that good of a football team. They're not good at all. I think Minnesota should win this game easily. This should be another lock of the week for you, David.
No, I got my lock of the week. I'm waiting for it. From this game, we got the battle between the AFC North and the AFC South. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers rolling into NRG Stadium, taking on the Houston Texans and CJ Stroud. Last time these two teams played, Pittsburgh squeaked out the victory 3 years ago, actually, 28-21. These teams had not played in 3 years. Pittsburgh coming off that victory against the Las Vegas Raiders. Houston coming off, I don't remember who they played last week, but they lost. So, thoughts?
Houston beat Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Houston beat Jacksonville. CJ Stroud looks amazing. He looks like the real deal.
He did look very good in that game.
Yeah, no, he looks like the real deal. We talked about it yesterday. He's the fastest, the first 3 games, 900 yards. Him and Cam Newton and Justin Herbert. That's really good, real good company right there. With that being said, I don't think anyone on Houston has the ability to even sniff or even be able to block TJ Watt. Okay. And as physical as this defense is, I think that this will be CJ Stroud's welcome to the NFL game. But I, was wrong. I thought he'd have it already in the first 3 weeks. So we'll see. But I do have Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game. This might be closer than what people think, though. This is I don't think this is going to be like they won 28-14. I think Houston's a very tough team. They're well coached. They're running through a brick wall for D'Amico Ryans. So I think this might be a close game, but I got the Steelers pulling it out.
Yeah, not to mention, this Steelers offense hasn't shown that it's overly potent at any point this season so far. But I do think the defense on the Steelers side will be giving them the edge in this game. Give me the Steelers to go on the road and win this game.
I want to say this about the Steelers offense. I think Kenny Pickett can be good. It's the offensive coordinator. They got to part ways with Matt Canada because he's not opening or elevating this playbook. And the Steelers, they got to go back to the basics. Whenever I think of Pittsburgh Steelers football, two things come to mind. One, running the football to help open up the passing game for the young quarterback. They did it with Roethlisberger all those years, and look how he turned out, right? And just playing stout defense, which you're going to get from them. The Steelers always have an elite defense. Watch out for Minka Fitzpatrick in this game. I think he'll have a pick or two. He's the best secondary player they've had since Troy Polamalu. I like the Steelers here.
Moving on from this game, we got the battle in the AFC West. We got the 1-2 Las Vegas Raiders, fresh off losing that Sunday night game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, going up against the Chargers, who got their first victory of the year against the Minnesota Vikings. I think that continues to roll. I just don't think the Las Vegas Raiders are a very good team right now, and I think the Los Angeles Chargers are ascending. Give me the Chargers win this game fairly easily, but it's still not my lock of the week.
Man, you know what? Yeah, give me the Chargers to win this game. They are going to miss Mike Will. Mike Will's out with ACL, have a speedy recovery, young man. So Joshua Palmer, who had a pretty fairly decent game, he's going to be he's going to be the second best target next to Keenan Allen.
And Joshua Palmer, when asked to play this role last season, was very effective. He's a good wide receiver.
Yeah, so they're not gonna miss nothing. So I think that Los Angeles Chargers are going to win this game at home. They were pretty embarrassed last week, so I think they're gonna come out strong. And this may not even be close. But also, on the Raiders side, I think what is a lock is Devontae Adams going crazy for the Las Vegas Raiders, just because he's the only option that Jimmy Garoppolo has to throw the football.
You know what I don't understand, just to sidetrack. So we're not that far removed from Hunter Renfrow being a 1,000-yard receiver and having over 100 catches 1 year ago, and he's basically been removed from this offense. I don't understand why they're not using him more.
The Josh McDaniel effect, let's just say that.
I guess, but I don't get it. Christian.
Yeah, I like the Chargers in this one. The Raiders, they're not a good football team. Yeah, Devontae's going to get his, but who else is going to get theirs? Who else do you trust within this offense? And look, between these two quarterbacks, give me Justin Herbert all day.
Justin Herbert was 40 of 47 last week with 400 yards. So,
yeah. Is
Austin
Eckler coming back for this game?
I do not. I will look that up in a second.
I don't think so. I think who's the young man?
Joshua Kelly.
Joshua Kelly is probably going to be the starter this week. But we'll see, man. There's who else is on the mend? David Montgomery's on the mend. We didn't talk about that, and Saquon Barkley's on the mend too. I mean, he basically kind of had that bye week because they had the Thursday, Thursday, and they play Monday. So. Who knows?
So the Chargers have a week 5 bye. So he's also dealing with a higher type ankle sprain. I would be fairly surprised if he played in this game. Moving on from this game, we got the battle between the AFC East and the NFC East. We got the 1-2 New England Patriots fresh off beating the New York Jets, going into Dallas, into Jerry World, and taking on the Dallas Cowboys, fresh off losing that game against Arizona. Christian.
I like Dallas, but I think New England's going to keep it close because Belichick, he's going to take away CeeDee Lamb, and he's going to do all he can to box up Tony Pollard. He's going to force Dak Prescott to beat this team with his arm, and I could see him doing it. New England, they just don't have the firepower that they used to. Yeah, they were able to grind that game out the other day in East Rutherford against the Jets, but other than that, this should be a nice bounce back victory for the Cowboys, but they're gonna have to earn this one. New England's just not gonna lay down.
Is he?
Man, you know what? I want, as much as I want to say this is the Ezekiel Elliott game, which it could very well be. Maybe if they get in the red zone, I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I just don't trust the Cowboys at all. I mean, Dak Prescott has just not looked himself. This season so far. I mean, you drop one to Arizona, you go into the red zone 5 times, you only score 1 touchdown in the red zone. That is totally unacceptable for what this offense is. And, honestly, in my opinion, I just don't think Tony Pollard's that red zone type of back. They're missing Ezekiel Elliott really bad when it comes to the red zone. They're missing that bruiser north-south kind of back down there. With that being said, I think the Cowboys should be able to squeak this one out, but I won't be surprised if they lose this game. But I'm going with the Cowboys because I just think they're more talented offensively. I think defensively they're more talented, but and they might have been going through, David, you're right. They might have been going through some things with Trayvon Diggs being hurt so late in the week. Their focus probably wasn't there. So
moving on from this. Oh yeah, I'm also taking the Dallas Cowboys. I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Patriots made this interesting and stole this game. But I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys. I just also do not trust this offense. They just don't seem to be clicking the way you expected. Even the game where they beat down the Giants, this offense didn't look great.
Look, I'll say this: the Cowboys have a Super Bowl caliber defense. I mean, it's homegrown. They throw so many different guys at you. And the Cowboys really are using Micah Parsons like the Giants used Lawrence Taylor almost over 40 years ago. They use him in different spots, in different capacities, and wherever he is on the field, he's lined up perfectly. But you could tell the Cowboys really missed Trayvon Diggs the other day. He was really playing in control. You could tell Stephon Gilmore was really mentoring this kid and taking him under his wing, because I always thought Diggs was kind of playing a little too aggressively at one time. Everybody always wanted to say he was a shutdown corner, but nah, when you're a shutdown corner, people don't even throw in your direction. They were throwing at him. Yeah, he was an interception machine, but a lot of people really don't know the basics of football.
Moving on from this game, the final game before we get into the prime time performances, we got the Arizona Cardinals going into Levi's Stadium, taking on the San Francisco 49ers. And this right here is my lock of the week. I'm taking San Francisco to be the lock of the week. 49ers they're just going to beat down Arizona. The last time these two teams played, San Francisco won this game 38-13. This was also in their building. I would not be surprised in the slightest if the result was very similar this week. Give me San Fran, lock of the week.
Give me San Francisco either. I don't even have to say much, but I am going to say this: Joshua Dobbs playing with what, like TJ said yesterday, double the house money. So he going in there swinging, running and gunning, and doesn't care because he ain't gonna lose his job. Okay, so he's gonna do whatever the hell it takes. And one thing I say, I say that is the most dangerous man on the earth is the man that has nothing to lose, right? And Joshua Dobbs has nothing to lose in this game, so he is gonna come out.
Joshua Dobbs doesn't have to play in the NFL. Like if he wanted to go do like aerospace stuff, he could.
Yeah, he can go he can go work for NASA and build spaceships. So that's how smart this guy is. He doesn't even need to be playing for the NFL. But anyways, I do think the San Francisco 49ers are going to beat them down. But I do think that, the Arizona Cardinals will, give them some trouble in the first half at least. I think the Arizona Cardinals will give them some problems in the first half. I do believe that.
Christian.
Yeah, I like the 49ers here. I like how Arizona's playing with a lot of heart, and a lot of intensity and a lot of effort. But, man, these 49ers are just clicking right now. They're dynamic offensively, and this defense is really going to get after Dobbs. Yeah, give me the 49ers.
Moving on from this game, bad news for NBC as Aaron Rodgers will not be playing in this game. As we go to Sunday Night Football, Kansas City Chiefs is supposed to be Patrick Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers. Instead, we got Patrick Mahomes versus Zach Wilson. Kansas City coming off beating down the Chicago Bears. The Jets coming off losing 2 in a row to the Dallas Cowboys and then to the New England Patriots. Last time these two teams played was 2 years ago, and the Kansas City beat them 35-9. I did not think Kansas City will be able to put up 35 points against this particular defense, but I do not expect this game to be close. Give me the Chiefs.
I was supposed to go to this one.
Go ahead.
I was supposed to go to this game. Now I'm not going because I don't want to. I like Kansas City. Look, all the Swifties gonna be in the house. Okay.
Oh God!
Look. Sorry, I had to troll them at least once. All the Swifties and the Chiefs fans and Chiefs Nation, they will come together on this one. I like Kansas City. The Jets don't stand a chance.
Izzy.
Yes, the Jets do not stand. This game will be over with just like Chicago was last week by the first half. That's all I got to say.
To the final game, we got the Seahawks going into MetLife Stadium and taking on Christian's New York Football Giants. Christian, since this is your team and you're the fan base of the Giants, how do you see this game shaking out? I will say the last time these two teams played last year, Seahawks beat them 27-13. How do you think this game shakes out?
I think Seattle beats them because they have more consistency on the offensive side of the ball. Whereas you don't know what you're going to get from the Giants and Daniel Jones. Yeah, they look good against Arizona, and they look good for portions of the game against San Francisco. And then the wheels just fell off the bus. I definitely like Seattle. I think Geno has a big game, and that's that.
Yeah, I expected Seattle's defense to be more dominant this season than they have been. I think this will be one of those high-scoring Monday Night Football games because the Giants' defense hasn't been all that good. You know, you trade for Isaiah Simmons. I thought he had more an impact on this defense than he has. I'm going to take the Giants to win this game. I think that this is going to be a shootout. I think Dan Jones just makes one more play than Geno Smith. I will take the Giants.
Yeah. You said Daniel Jones going to make one more play than Geno Smith?
Just one.
I doubt it. I am going with the Seattle Seahawks in this game. Unless Saquon Barkley comes back, which I think he does come back, then I will say that the Giants will make it very interesting for the Seahawks. But I do got the Seattle Seahawks. I'm sorry, Chino. I'm sorry, Chino. That's what Jose Luis gotcha. I know Chino. I talk to Chino a lot. Sorry, my boy, but the G-Men, them Blue Gambinos, are not winning at home. The Seattle Seahawks are winning, and I'm stamping it. Sorry about that, buddy.
Thank you very much for checking us out here at Prime Sports World. This has been our Week 3 Monday Night Football recap, Week 4 preview / predictions. Thank you very much for checking us out. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm David Huffman right there, Israel Rivera, and from the dailyblitz.blog, our good friend, good brother, Christian Simpson. And gentlemen, what we do here at the Prime, my friends,
we
bring the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
Bring the heat. That is absolutely right. And keep an eye out for that content as tomorrow we're bringing you Fantasy Football Weekly. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to fantasy football. This has been Prime Sports World signing out. See you guys tomorrow. Peace out, gentlemen.